Okay, we're going to call to order the Town of St. Paul Planning and Zoning Commission meeting for June 16th, 2026, approximately 7 o'clock. First order of business is to do the roll call. Tammy? Eric?
Here.
Cam?
Here.
Jason? Gary? Here. Okay, do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the next order of business is public comments, and we've got about eight people that want to speak. So the first person is Tom, and you'll have approximately 3 minutes.
He's turning red.
Okay, I wasn't planning to bring a fan club, but I appreciate it. Good evening, Chairman and members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. My name is Tom Wilson, and I live at 6970 Frieda Lane in St. Paul. I want to start by telling you kind of how I found out about all this. On Saturday, I met with the new owner of 6959 Frieda Lane, a gentleman named Kerry Brabham of Urban Bluff Industrial, a real estate development firm, and discovered that he owns 11 other business parks across the DFW area, including the new commercial buildings they built on the next street over on Paul Wilson Road, right there on that corner. They explained to me that their plan is to build 2 commercial buildings on the back of 6959 Frieda, behind the existing house and directly across from my home. They said that within 2 years, they then plan to bulldoze the home and add additional buildings all the way to the front of Frieda Lane, filling in the entire property. They also plan to add what he described as a road off of our small residential road to accommodate their clients and renters. I'm here tonight with several of my neighbors to respectfully share our concerns. We understand that this may only be an information gathering meeting this evening, but we do want our city to understand and clearly understand how this seriously impacts all of us who already live here. My first concern is property values. My family purchased our home in 2018. It was in massive disrepair. We've done a lot of hard work to improve it and make it a beautiful home. Really, like probably most of our neighbors here, we've invested time, money, and care into our property, and we're proud of our neighborhood, and we want to protect the value of those investments. A business park in the middle of our neighborhood could put all of that at risk. My second concern is traffic and safety. Frieda Lane is not designed for heavy commercial traffic. We're worried about more vehicles, delivery trucks, and people unfamiliar with the area. This creates danger for families, children, and neighbors who walk or drive this road every day. Adding a road off of our small residential road could make this even worse. We're also concerned about lights and noise. Commercial development can bring parking lot lights, headlights, construction noise, and ongoing activity that will change the character of a quiet residential area. That kind of impact doesn't stay on one lot, but rather impacts the entire neighborhood around it. And we also want to mention the domino effect. If one homeowner decides to sell because of the changes, it can start a chain reaction that affects the rest of us. Once that begins, the character of the neighborhood can change incredibly quickly. I question, is this really the best use of property to a commercial building adjacent from family homes? That's what's concerning to me. We're here because this is our home, and we're asking for your help. We have community block parties for our families to gather. Kids ride their bikes and scooters all the time down that road, and it's safe for them out there. I have neighbors who walk down to my house to talk to me in my driveway literally 3 or 4 times a week. This is more than just a street, it's a real community. And we want St. Paul to remain the kind of place where families can live peacefully, safely, and where this special community can continue to grow for generations. So thank you for listening to us tonight and for considering our concerns for the people who already live here in St. Paul.
Okay, the next person on the list is Michael Waters.
Well, I just found out about this today, and, you know, Tom, I think you did a great job of explaining, you know, some things I hadn't even thought of. But,
Excuse me, repeat your address, your home
address 7080 Freda Lane. And, you know, it just, you know, I could repeat what Tom said, but just the fact that, you know, a neighbor across the street, I'm in St. Paul, my neighbor across the street, not here, but he's thinking about retiring, and from what I understand from what might be happening down the street, since there's no code restrictions, I guess, across in Wiley, which is what, you know, they're in, I could have a 7-Eleven across the street from it. I mean, I may be wrong, but, you know, and I know that Park Lane is going to be done pretty soon. And all those homes along there, looks like could be prime commercial property if nothing's done about it. So, you know, it worries me a lot. You know, I'm retired and I don't like to think about spending the rest of my retirement with, you know, 7-Elevens all around there, whatever.
Okay, thank you. Next is Jackie Tobar.
That's me.
Get up front, girl.
Well, I don't want y'all to have to stare at my butt. We have priorities in life. My name is Jackie Tobar. I live at 635 Legend Trail in St. Paul. While my home is in the ETJ, this issue directly affects me and my family. Frida Road is trapped between Paul Wilson Road and Legend Trail. It's the road my family uses every day. It's where our kids learn to drive, where neighbors walk their dogs, and where we will take family walks together. I understand that there's not currently an item on tonight's agenda regarding a business park in this area. However, there has been enough discussion within the community that I felt it was important to respectfully share the concerns of those who would be directly impacted if a proposal like this were ever brought forward. I also want to be clear about something. I am not anti-business. I own 2 businesses in downtown Wiley. I believe in entrepreneurship and economic development. I create jobs, pay taxes, and intentionally support local businesses because I understand the role that they play in helping communities thrive. I also am a regular at Eddie's. I'm a member at Massage Lux. I choose to spend my money with local businesses whenever I can. This isn't about opposing businesses. It's about location. Frida is not a commercial corridor. It's a neighborhood road. And we've already seen what happens when the road is treated like something it's not. During the Parker Road improvements, Frida became a cut-through route. And boy, did we feel every bit of that excessive traffic. We experienced the congestion, the speeding, the frustration, and the loss of the quiet character that drew many of us here in the first place. That was temporary. A business park would make those impacts permanent. If a business park were ever proposed between Paul Wilson and Legend, it would bring increased traffic into the middle of a residential area. It would affect safety, increase congestion, change the character of the neighborhood, and set a precedent for future development decisions. People don't move to St. Paul by accident. They move here because they want something different. They want room to breathe, they want to know their neighbors. They want their children to grow up exploring the creek, chasing snakes, riding 4-wheelers, and playing outside in a community that still feels rural. That rural character isn't something we can rebuild once it's gone. I don't think any of us expect St. Paul to stay exactly the same forever. Growth is inevitable, but growth should reflect the vision of the people who already call this place home. When residents chose St. Paul, they made an investment, not just financially, but emotionally. They invested in the lifestyle, they invested in their neighbors, and they invested in raising their families here. As a business owner, if I wanted to build a business park, I would seek out a location intended for commercial growth. I would never ask a neighborhood full of families to become something it was never intended to be. Businesses deserve places to thrive, and families deserve neighborhoods that remain neighborhoods. Just because we can put a business park here doesn't mean we should. The decisions you make today will shape St. Paul. Our children will inherit tomorrow. So please keep St. Paul, St. Paul.
Yeah.
Okay, Rebecca Bowers.
I live at 6979 Frida Lane, and I am approaching this as a concerned mother. I own the property immediately to the west of the parcel in question on Frida Lane. My husband and I bought our 2 acres of land 1 year ago for the express purpose of maintaining a country atmosphere, but still close enough for my husband's work. We made our decisions and purchased our property for the express purpose of a rural feel and purchased one of the very few remaining properties with these parameters. I have 3 young daughters. I chose my land for the peace and security a large backyard brings, a place to be safe and roam free, a place to imagine and play and have a great childhood. A business park going in, abutting my property line, steals every bit of peace and security I've worked hard and sacrificed for. I will no longer feel safe letting my young girls run around the yard without my direct supervision, now knowing that any type of person could be next door, coming and going throughout the day. This would also bring a level of activity that significantly increases the dangers present to my young girls, such as predation. I homeschool my 3 girls. We are at home nearly all the time, enjoying the peacefulness and calmness of the neighborhood. This would all be destroyed. The harbor that I have built, the safe sanctuary, will be gone, stealing the freedom and security of my children's childhoods. I did not choose to live next to a business, and this is now possibly being forced upon me and my family. We cannot afford to relocate to another location if such a similar one even exists. Our neighborhood is currently very serene and idyllic. The roads are safe for my children and others to ride their bikes on, take walks, say hello to their neighbors. A business park right next door not only destroys my peace and safety, but that of the entire neighborhood. All the neighborhood activities of walking dogs and saying hello, young people riding scooters and stopping to say hello to the horse or cows across the street, all of that disappears. Changing the zoning of this property disrupts the entire neighborhood with all the extra traffic, noise, and light pollution it would bring. The extra delivery trucks and cars for the traffic, not to mention the types of businesses that could take up residence, disturbing the peace even more. The bright lights shining into my windows at night, and it's currently a very dark, peaceful, country-like neighborhood, which I love. I also have concerns about drainage. If it becomes a concrete jungle next door to my property is between the runoff and that property, and now the yard where my children play could be flooded a lot, at least when it rains. This is not the neighborhood we chose, and if this proposal goes through, it won't even be a neighborhood anymore. It will be a few houses among the businesses. This property becoming a commercial property will set a precedent of all the remaining properties east of Legend Trail Estates to become commercial in very short order, and soon there will be no more neighborhood at all. I strongly and wholeheartedly oppose the rezoning of the property on Frida Lane. Rezoning would be a very poor decision affecting hundreds of people who treasure their peace and privacy.
Who's next?
Okay, Michael and Leah and...
It's prom. It's the prom queen.
We live at 7025 Frida Lane. We actually back up to the buildings that they've already built. Our peaceful little backyard where we sit out at our pool at night, just want some peace and quiet, has these bright security lights shining in. Now that the trees are starting to grow in a little more, it's helping, but the more they build, the more security lights, and I understand they need security lights around their property, but that property is around my property. And my wife has got some pictures.
Like where my grandkids play, there's the building right there. It's cutting, it's 2 doors down is where they're wanting to build these businesses, where it's taking away the safety from my grandkids getting to play out there in the backyard. Picking strawberries, picking tomatoes, where now we're sitting in the backyard and we're seeing people come and go with vans unloading stuff all hours of the night. I'm sad that I didn't get pictures of the nighttime because it is bright. It lights up our backyard. And I'm one of the neighbors that walks my dogs through the neighborhood. I know every one of our neighbors. It's such a peaceful, loving neighborhood where we do have block parties and we get together and have gatherings. And I remember one, not too long ago, praying in the backyard, praying for a yard full of grandbabies. And now I'm just praying that that yard for my grandbabies is not taken away by a business, that it's continued to have peaceful nights where we can sit with a family and play and have family gatherings and enjoy life. It's getting time to where we're getting to where we're going to retire and hopefully enjoy those nights in our backyard. And that dream is now starting to crumble down, and it's kind of scary. So,
And additionally, when we did have all that through traffic with Parker,
I called 3 times.
I was hit in my driveway. My own driveway. Coming home from work, I turned into my driveway and had a lady tried to pass me on the inside. Her tires were in my driveway when she hit me. I had the Collin County Sheriff came out, wrote her up. I mean, it's crazy. When you open that street up for that, it becomes a little raceway.
And just to add on, that street narrows on Frida.
Yes, it doesn't go
It's
away.
much narrower.
Brad has gone out.
Remember when we used to dead end right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not looking for improvements, that's not what we're here for.
But, I mean.
We're just looking for it to stay the same.
Maps.
Stay where we want.
Could you mind sharing those pictures?
You can have these photos.
For $5.
I just wanted to, I mean, you put the effort in.
Always
Yeah,
gotta be a
so
business girl.
This is the building, one of the buildings, bright lights all night long. Here you can see the building here from my backyard. The building, this is my property line. We'll actually go down this in a little. So you can have those. Those are in my backyard where we're seeing they're big, 2 doors down.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy. Where's he?
Where's he?
Even the day off,
Okay, the next person,
Oh, wait, we didn't.
That was for you, dear. We got the grandma effect.
it's hard for me to read this name, but it's at 6949 Frida Lane.
Oh, that's us,
Yeah. Sorry.
James and Bridget.
Okay.
Can you
My
sign
name
your
is James Kerbel and my wife Bridget Kerbel. We live at 6949 Frida Lane. We've lived there well past 24 years. We created a home there, raised our kids there, planning on retiring in the area. We have animals there, we have horses there. We're adjacent to the property. Vaughn that lived in that property, we knew him for the entire time we lived there. He was 94 years old when he passed away. The family sold it to this corporation.
Wildlife.
Yeah. And that being said, it's going to be a dramatic impact to us. Like she said, the runoff, the water. We have horses, we raise horses, thoroughbreds. It's obviously going to impact us greatly when you put buildings there. But like they said, the road is very narrow there. I have to pull off to the side of the road to let a car pass without, you can't pass 2 cars on the road. Part of it, I realize, is on St. Paul. We used to own the property in St. Paul across from us. But that being said, it's a residential neighborhood. It's always been a residential neighborhood for the 20-plus years I've lived there. And now for this to move into the area and the neighborhood is a big impact on everybody here in this. I don't know what you can do about it, but from that perspective. But from Frida Lane being partially in St. Paul, it's not made for commercial traffic and cars coming in day and night, no control over it and whatnot, right? And then what clientele that it brings into it, right? 24/7, being a commercial property. Now, I feel that our property is going to be unsafe. We're going to have to lock up everything, not knowing what's right next to us and how they're going to view into our property and our area. So it's going to make it an unsafe area from my perspective. Anytime you bring in renters and different clientele for corporation and business, you're going to have people moving in and out all the time.
Yes.
And their customers don't know what type of people goes in.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's very concerning to us.
They fly through there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, so all of the houses on the north portion of Paul Wilson is right behind all of our properties, they're all owned by LLCs. And businesses of these humongous storage buildings that are / offices. And again, I'm not against businesses. But we already have a problem with rain. It's already flooding our back pasture. And so that limits us in regards to the safety to our horses. And I know we're not the only ones that are being flooded and we're impacted. And I know that we're under Collin County and we are considered residential, but no one seems to want our portion of Collin County.
No.
Because St. Paul is on the other side, on the north side of Frida Lane, for a portion of it. But I do understand that St. Paul and County, they share the cost of the upkeep of Frida Lane, the whole Frida Lane. So I can't imagine a commercial business of this magnitude going in between a young mother and her 3 little girls, and they're little, and having to, a huge investment on, they would have to look directly at it, and then we're on the other side of it, and it's gonna impact the safety of our horses, because they're not cheap little grade horses. I'm scared about who's gonna be brought in, the traffic, there's no control of it. Right now, like the other night I called the sheriff because their back door was wide open. You know, and we know that's not a normal thing. But when we have all of this traffic going in, there's no way that we can know if they're belonging there, you know. And like my husband said, now we're gonna have to lock everything up like Fort Knox, and then we have all of these lights peering at us. I mean, it's the way it is right now, it's almost unbearable. I can't imagine it now them invading right next to us. And just a short little note, so the gentleman you met, he has, I don't know if they're fly-by-night or what, but they have 13 different LLCs attributed to him.
Gosh.
Okay? They've already built one on the corner of Paul Wilson. And they have, I don't understand why they have 13 different LLCs. So that's all I have to say. I don't know if we can do anything about this because Collin County doesn't want to do anything about it. Another thing is the septic. I know for a fact their drain field where they want to build all these things that's where their drain field is. So they're on a conventional septic. I don't know how they're going to control all of this traffic. Our road can't handle that. It just can't handle it. It's a small, narrow tar road.
You can't make a trailer down it very well.
I mean, it was an act of God for us to get the trailer. We have to do quite the maneuvering
It's a golf
to
cart
get it.
road. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
I see children
Yeah,
riding
on
their
scooters.
skateboard and scooters up
Yeah.
and down the
No,
road
that's
all
fine.
the
But
time.
we have
People are walking
regard
their
for that
dogs.
as neighbors. We have regard for that of people walking their dogs, out getting exercise, their small children. When they had people come in, you know, down our road as a cutoff, it was dangerous. I mean, one day the sheriff stopped, I don't know how many cars, because there's signs posted say not a drive, it's not a
Not a
throughway.
Yeah, it's not a drive
So-
through
I
anyway.
hate to cut you off, but
Yeah.
3 minutes.
I'm sorry, that's,
Don't be sorry.
yeah.
That's why we only get together once a year.
No, we have a lot to say.
We do.
Vincent Gordon. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Vincent Giordano. We live at 701 Legend Trail. It is the house directly at the end of Frida Lane. We have lived there for 13 years. We have 2 children. These are 2 of the children that are consistently riding up and down these streets, walking our dogs. We have animals as well. I found out about this today, and I had serious concerns. Listening to everyone else speak brought about so many other concerns that I had never thought about. The security is one of the main things that I am now worried about, amongst all of the others. But how can our residential neighborhood support a commercial structure like this, with the comings and goings of the people who are going to work there and their patrons? We don't even know who that's going to be at this point.
Right.
So typically in a residential neighborhood, the neighbors look out for one another. We can tell who belongs and who doesn't belong. So we know when to be alerted. That will all go away. If this commercial building, this structure, however many structures there are supposed to be, is approved and they are brought in, our security is gone. All of that is gone. Lighting is an issue. I never thought about that. Obviously the water drainage. There are a number of us who deal with drainage issues as it is. That road absolutely cannot support a commercial building. We experienced a number of issues throughout the construction of Parker Road. A number of these neighbors dealt with these large trucks that come through and drive on their lawn because it does not support large vehicles. Large vehicles cannot make these turns without going onto residential property. So again, how is that allowed? Are you allowed to have these commercial trucks? These businesses negatively affect their residential neighbors. So yeah, I echo the sentiments of everyone that came before me. It is a serious concern. Hopefully you have the ability to affect this in a positive way. If not, I don't know if you can advise us on who to look to next, because again, I just found out about this today. I don't know if we can look to Wiley or someone else.
No,
Oh, that's what we're on.
it's Collin County, and I couldn't find any permits pulled yet, but.
It just seems unbelievable that a huge commercial structure could be set smack dab in the center of a residential neighborhood and affect all of our lives, purely for business. So that's all I have.
Okay.
So hopefully they can see.
And a shout out to the almost 60-year-old pecan trees that Vaughn planted,
Yeah. Those are
he and his wife.
Do y'all want to live on our street? Because there's one house for sale.
Yeah.
Acre lot.
All right, the last person is Michael Holland.
I gotta follow all these people. You got it. Michael Hollenbeck, we live at 898 Legend Trail. And unlike everybody else, we're not on the main thoroughfare. We get the after effects of everything. So we're at the dead end of the cul-de-sac. And as parking was coming in, for example, we got all the trucks that came in and got lost. This is just gonna get even worse with all these people coming in. There's some major concerns that people brought up. You're talking about your daughters. We have, what, 5 grandkids? Yeah. That when they come out of town, they run up and down the street. They're riding around and doing all their stuff. There's a number of kids that come out. There's a number of safety concerns. I think one of the biggest safety concerns is the riffraff that's going to come in with this. We don't know what kind of businesses there are, but we know after dark, and there's businesses, what comes, the riffraff follows. They look for that dark area. So that's a major problem that's going to come through, even with security lights. The drainage, again, the country living is the biggest thing. We came from concrete jungle. We lived 40 years in concrete jungle. We came out here for the countryside, and that's going away. Parker's now 4 lanes. We got Park coming over here. We're floating in our pool this weekend, all we hear is traffic. So that's going to get worse. And again, I can't speak to Frida Lane. I know it's a tiny street. I drive my car there once in a while, and the golf cart goes up and down there. So it's not going to handle the semi-trucks. And if you take a look at what happened to Paul Wilson, with them building the backside there, with how it tore up there, it's going to do the same thing without the street. So again, everybody had some great points, they had awesome points to bring up. I have really nothing else to add except what I just said. So.
Since there's no item on the agenda, we can't comment, right?
We can hang out after. I know how meetings go.
Okay, you're right, it isn't on the agenda, so thank you for your comments, though. We all knew about the first warehouse, but I'm not sure about the other ones. Maybe you guys know better. We just didn't know.
Okay, can I bring up just one more concern, like for 30 seconds? The one thing that I was not clarified on is when you look at that piece of property, it's split up into 2 sections. And so this morning when I came by and talked to Alex, that was the one thing we were kind of confused about is it almost comes off like he's putting 2 buildings here, and then now that he's in, then he can sneak forward and put it in all the way to Frida Lane. And that's one other area of concern that I've got.
And that's where the drain field is at,
Yeah,
the second
the
tax
current
lot.
building.
And Rush Creek.
I'll repeat, because there's no item on the agenda.
I know you guys can't say anything.
We cannot comment on it. During
So
the
you're not
official,
able to tell us what you can or cannot?
during the official meeting, we can only
Okay.
provide comments on items that are on the agenda. I'm sorry, I really am.
Well, we'll let you guys get your meeting over
Yep.
with.
We'll just
We're here for you now.
Okay, so we'll begin item number 4, the regular agenda. The first one, 4.1, is the discussion and possible action about approval of the minutes from March 17th. And once we get through that, I'll accept the motion.
I'll motion we accept the minutes for the meeting
March 17th.
of March 17th as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We should have had a second, I'll second it.
All right.
All right. All right, and then the 4.2, another set of meetings, minutes, discussion of possible action, approval of minutes for May 19th, when we had a power outage. So please review those and then I'll set another.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting, the minutes from May 19th, 2026.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's good. All right, the 4.3 is discussion and possible action on the pool ordinance.
So I had two comments.
Sure.
In relation, I don't know, I didn't get a chance to look over yours. But in section 105, point 4, it talks about, find it here again. The basic issue I had was it indicated that construction can start before approval of all the construction documents.
It's 105.4.1,
I believe so.
approved construction documents. Is that what you're,
Yeah.
planning it right here? Okay.
And you know, in my opinion, until all the construction documents are submitted, reviewed, and/or approved, you cannot start. That's my opinion.
No, I agree. I'm just trying to find exactly where it says that. Is it,
See,
I just wanted to note it, that's all.
let's see.
It's that second paragraph.
Yeah, it's
where
that second paragraph.
Issue a permit for construction before the construction documents.
Have been submitted or approved. So that second paragraph is what I take exception to in 105.4.4.
Okay, so it's the second paragraph.
Yeah, it's the second paragraph.
Shall proceed at their own risk.
Yeah.
Is this in the ordinance or is this in Gary's?
It's in
It's
the ordinance.
in the
It's-
ordinance,
it's,
the big documents.
Yeah, that's the code standard. So
Yeah.
105.4.1.
The 90-some odd pages.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the other one that I had, and you may have it in here also, like I said, I didn't get to go through yours and this, was it taught in 321.1, talks about backflush, and it has to be discharged into the sanitary or storm sewer or in an approved disposal system on the premise.
Which section?
321.1,
Do you have a page number?
34.
Thank you. Did that much faster.
So out here, no one has, storm sewer close by or, I don't know, sanitary, approved disposal system or what, on the premise. I mean, I would be willing to bet that those people that have existing swimming pools have a hose that lays out into the yard, and when they back flush the pool, it drains out. I mean, I don't know how we would modify that. I mean, I get it, you don't want to flood your neighbor's property with the water coming out of your pool, but, even if you run a pipe into your septic system, it's going to run your septic system, so.
What we do at home is we run it, because we
we're like on Parker Road, but not facing Parker Road, right? So we run it to the culvert that's at the end, or the ditch.
You've got a culvert.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. But that's what we do.
Yeah, and so, I mean, we need, you know, somehow, you know, we need to take that into consideration. It's 321, one on page 34.
That's fine.
That's all right.
I've never had a pool, so agree with me.
I have, but my neighbors have had them, and, I mean, you know, the rest of it, I mean, you can make comments one way or the other, but it all makes sense. I mean, you know. So that was my two comments, Gary, after I kind of read through it.
Okay.
And I don't know if those were covered in your
I
comments.
think they were, but let's
Let's go through yours.
Let's go through mine.
Okay.
What I was trying to do, because it is a large document,
It is.
and there's a lot, so what I try to do is go, I listed the chapters, and then what the chapters covered. So the first one is scope and administration, and then I put a description right out of the document. I tried to make it smaller so I could chew it, right?
Right.
The money to all of it. And then, okay, so the scope and administration, when I looked through, I did look through all the detail, I read the whole thing. So I thought, okay, that's probably something we could adopt.
So that's where that 105 is in permit section?
Yeah, and again, I'm gonna miss some detail because I couldn't remember it all.
Peace. I'm just saying that this is the way, you know, I would say, I don't have a problem with it if we make a note there that 105, you know, needs to be modified. You can't begin work until you get a permit.
No, you're right. And, let me write that down.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah, there was so much stuff to read. All right, so that's what I did.
Yep.
The rest of it was, like I said, it's
Yeah.
scope and administration.
I'm
You're
with
right
you.
about the gotta have the paperwork before you
Yep,
begin. The next one was definitions,
yep.
and I think we have to have the definitions so we know what they mean. in the
Yeah,
document, right?
I'm good with that.
So I adopted that, I suggested we adopt that. And then general compliance, this three and one, that there's stuff it mentions public school pools and public spas, and then it also mentions residential. Now, in general, I don't think we have any public pools, swimming pools.
We don't. The question
Will we?
is, you know, the last time, as noted, that we looked at pool requirements was 10, 15 years ago. Can you project what's going to happen in the next 10 or 15 years? In other words, should we have something in there that said, you know, because this is going to be a long-lived document. So, you know, so I don't, me personally, I'm not, you know, opposed to what you're saying. I'm just saying, I didn't have a problem including definitions for if you're going to build a public swimming pool or a public spa, to have the requirements in the document that says this is what you got to do if that's what you're going after.
You're right, I agree.
Okay.
I was just trying to make a way to get it shorter, but you're right, because the answer to your question is change.
Yeah.
It'll always be changed, right?
Exactly.
And so, what we could probably do is change that, not adopt to, we need to review it more. Does that make sense? Because I don't know, at this point in time, when I got to those sections, I looked.
Oh, I read them.
Yeah, I read them too, and then I go.
Yeah, it's pretty exhaustive. I mean, you know, there's a lot of good stuff in there, I can tell you.
It was.
But if you want to put it off and have a chance to review it again, I've got no problem with that either.
Or are you suggesting that we keep it and we adopt it?
I
didn't see anything offensive in there.
In my opinion, I would not strike it. I would leave it in there for, if nothing else, future protection.
Okay.
That says if somebody's gonna come in and they, because if we did have somebody that wanted to come in and build a public area, right?
I second that.
Then we wouldn't have anything in there.
Yeah, then we
have to
wouldn't
go
have
back
anything
and
in there to
put it
cover
back
it, and then we're right back where we're at today.
I guess I also agree,
Okay.
because I don't wanna have to go through this thing again.
I'm
Read
with
it all
you.
over again?
Well, I'm gonna have to read it again, but if you didn't see anything in there, then I guess I would be okay with that.
I didn't have any other issues, like I said, 321 does fall in this, in chapter 3.
Yes, it does.
So we need to address that somehow.
And that's wastewater disposal.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just mark need to address.
So would it be good to add something like Alex was saying, to try and send it to the culvert, to the ditch?
Well, but there's as been discussed, there's a large number of roads within St. Paul that are simply blacktop with a ditch. So what culvert are you gonna run it to?
Well, if a house does have a culvert, at least, instead of spraying it in the neighbor's yard.
Well, yeah, and it also depends on what wastewater is coming out of the pool, right?
Well,
Because mine catch the filter.
well, so this is backflush, so it's backflush out of your filter. There's all kinds.
I don't backflush, I have to catch, everything gets caught in the filter, I take the filters out and then I wash them off. So it's whatever that's where it's
Where do you wash it off?
in the driveway. But it does go probably the same way.
Yeah.
We had a big ditch, it's like type of fun.
Yeah.
And it's just, basically it's dirt, what it is.
It basically is, so
I don't
when
have sand or anything, I mean, I don't, when I backflow, well, in the past, when I backflow, it's whatever, you put sand, maybe a sand filter.
I had a sand filter.
And then that goes, yeah, that is not really
But there's not a lot of quote unquote sand that comes out from the back.
No, but I was told I couldn't have that because I had a septic tank. So I had to use a regular filter that I wash off.
Right,
And
right.
that's just that, bugs and basically stuff that fell in the pool from the sky or off of people.
Yeah.
So, but you're right, for those who may have the other, we need to determine what's allowed.
Yeah,
So I'm okay with that, I just want to make sure that.
No, I'm with you.
And I have to consider that stuff in my filters or change of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I fill them out.
Well,
I don't think
there's
I-
nothing in this document that prohibits on an above ground pool having a sand filter.
Yeah, and see, the sand would have to go somewhere.
Well, but again, my past experience, when I backflushed, you didn't get sand coming out of
You get a lot of junk.
the filter. Right, it's like you say, everything else that it collects. And you've got, on the skimmer, that's where, all the bugs and
Rats,
other stuff.
Rats, mice.
Yeah, anything else that jumped in the pool, yeah.
Okay, well, we probably need to address that. I agree.
Okay.
I guess then in chapter 4,
Chapter 4, yeah.
public swimming pools, if we're going to change it around to adopt it. I
Yeah.
didn't see anything in there other than the reason why I rejected it was because it's public. We didn't have any. Based on our discussion.
I agree, we don't have it. It doesn't mean that somebody
Yes.
don't want to come in at some point in the future and do it.
I did think, I did question in my head for a couple seconds. What else was it like? Inspiration.
What?
Inspiration. Because they have a public pool there. I'm just saying to have something like that.
Yeah. If Inspiration ever become part of St. Paul,
And
then
they're public.
there's a public pool.
Oh, they're not a part of St. Paul?
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. All right, so then we've got to change chapter 5, same thing.
Agreed.
I didn't understand the aquatic recreation facilities for chapter 6, so I said do not adopt.
Yeah, I have to go back, what's the definition of a?
It says establishes specific requirements for aquatic recreation facilities with regards to floors.
But in the definitions, what does it define?
General floors, marking and indicators, circulation systems, and poles, ropes, depths, barriers, numbers of occupants, dressing and sanitary facilities, special features, signage, interactive water play features. So I think this is like an aquatic exercise pool, but it's a public thing. It's not.
Yeah, public pools and water containment systems used for aquatic recreation.
Or it could be exercises, could be.
Could be, yeah. So
And then you probably have a shower area.
well,
Probably what you're talking about.
the buildings are covered separately. So, again, if we're going to cover public pools and public spas, then you probably leave this one done. If that's what it's, according to chapter 6,
That's what it sounds like to me. That's what I read it as, but because I agree the other two, I
Yep, yep.
So we're gonna adopt this. I mean, really, they did all the work for us.
That's, yeah.
I wouldn't want to write that thing. All right, so then, chapter 7 is like above.
Yep. That's above, yep, above ground.
And it says residential. so
Yep.
We would have to adopt that. I think I did, yes.
8's residential,
8 was adopted,
9, yep,
permanent, and then portable spas.
Yep.
I think residential stuff, so that was adopted.
yep,
I kept the references in,
yep.
so we could look. And then, is the one, okay, so then this is where I was getting tired. But there was a question about consider amending or removing the striping requirements. Of course, I did a search on what are the striping requirements. And this, it turned out that this, the implicit final was for water parks. So I said.
Public pools, there was information in there about no diving,
Right.
the depth of the water.
These are probably, these that squirt up in the air and kids run through and stuff like that.
Well, it talked, no, this talked about even in public pools, that's right. So if you go to a public pool, like in the shallow end, you'll have a marker for how deep the water is, and they may have lettering that says no diving. And what it talked about was it had to be, the bottom had to be a certain color, the striping, had to be certain colors, so that it was clearly visible, when you were standing out in the pool. And wouldn't prohibit, if there was a drowning or somebody was in trouble under the water, wouldn't prohibit being able to see them,
Right. Based on our conversations tonight,
Yep.
this is probably something that.
I agree.
Is that right?
I think so.
I was talking to myself when I was in there. I was just trying to.
Like I said, I spent 2 hours reading this thing.
I was getting annoyed. I was working on it longer because I had to write this thing.
Your eyes got tired, huh?
All right, so, and I think it was in section 6, right?
Yeah, it was section 6.
Okay, because I copied out a couple things specifically around pool steps. And I didn't understand, I mean, it was pretty clear that it laid it out. I really didn't have a problem with the pool steps. I would just put it in.
No, I'm with you, I understand. I understand what she's thinking, I just.
All right, and the very last thing, it's written wrong, because I didn't read it. I meant to adopt the last requirement. Not, I know you can read it and go like like, well, it sounds like you didn't want to adopt it. No, no. Based on my own experience, I know that as soon as your kids get past a certain age, you turn that darn thing off. It's a door alarm. It drives you crazy.
I hear you.
But we still should adopt that.
Yeah.
Or make them prove, and there's an example years ago, that they make them sign a document.
That they have it?
That they have it.
Yeah. I
There was
agree.
one other thing I don't remember covering as we were going through this, but I'll bring it up. There's a thing called meshed fence. And what they are is, okay, so when you have little toddlers, it goes around the outside of the pool and you get 20 inches holes around the diameter. But they're kind of considered to be removable. They're not, you still need to have, but here's the trick, okay? I think that some people think that, okay, we'll put the mesh fence up. We don't have to have the real fence surrounding the property. Pools it. Right? And so as I read that, I thought, well, you know, people are going to remove the mesh fence once their kids learn how to swim. It's really meant to protect the toddler from falling in. It's a mesh, so they can't push it. And for kids that can't really swim, they can't actually accidentally fall in and drown, right?
Right.
But I think that also should be adoptable. We should adopt that. I don't remember what that we require them.
Or we require?
You can make it optional. But they can't use it as the
primary fence.
Right.
So in remembering back what I read, it's probably in the barrier section, and it talks about the size of the, what comes to my mind is chain link fence, how big can the opening be? And it talks specifically about a ball, or I don't know if it's 2 inches, or if I remember right, you know, that's as large as can fit through there.
Yeah, that's so that a child can.
Exactly.
Get through there.
Exactly.
There was whatever section. I wish for some reason I didn't write that.
No, I'm with you. Like I said, after I read through it, I went back and I thought, well, these are the two things I have troubles with, and I didn't mark it on my computer or write it down. And I was like, I'm not printing out 98 pages.
2.5, is it?
305?
That might have very well been in section 3.
Say that again.
It's like the fifth page from the last.
Oh, fifth what?
305.2.5.
So what page is this? 5 of 8.
Oh, you're talking about my stuff. Okay.
What page was that? What were you referencing? Sorry. I'm trying to follow.
5 of 8.
Thank you.
So so pages 1 through 8 is the ordinance that has been prepared. It includes the local amendments, so the North Central Texas Council of Governments. They review these and they basically strike things that aren't applicable to state code.
Right.
So that's what the local amendments are. Bureau Veritas is who pointed out the deficiencies in the mesh fencing, and you'll see that on page 5.
Okay, so you see it, right? Okay.
Yeah, I see it there. That's what it's-
And it was 305, not 2.5.
Yeah. So what's the recommendation in reference to that?
He just recommends having a discussion on it and possibly striking through allowing it to be a requirement as a pool barrier fence.
The chain link fence?
The mesh
No,
fence.
The chain link.
The chain link is already prohibited. That took effect in 1994.
Okay.
It would mean something, or be something like, they can't have a portable fence as their primary fence. Or something along those lines. around the pool.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement.
But we don't have to, they can put a mesh fence up if they want to protect their children.
So how does it go up? Is it up against the iron?
No, it's
30528.
It's a,
T-posts.
it's a,
Did you guys see the email from Phil with BV where he discusses the mesh fencing? It was in there before the ordinance.
Was it part of the thing that you
Yes.
sent?
yeah, it was towards the end.
Yes, it's before the local amendments.
Phil?
Yes. And these are his direct comments on both the alarms and the mesh fencing.
Yeah,
This
there
is
it
what,
is.
this is what I remember seeing this.
It's right here, it's in,
So, oh, there, this one.
it's a letter, it's this one right here. Yeah, that looks like it. Where it says mesh type fencing, is going to talk about.
So that down there.
It's an email from Phil.
Yeah, this is an email.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah, the first paragraph, where it says things to consider, mesh type fencing. You see it?
Yeah, I see. Refresh my memory here.
Okay, the mesh fencing can be removed, so it's kind of like portable type fencing that goes around the perimeter of the pool to keep like toddlers, kids that can't walk, maybe, or can't swim definitely, swimming. But the thing is, a lot of people use that and then they want to use it as a primary fence.
No, I would agree with him that putting up a mesh fence cannot be
The primary.
the primary barrier.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you have the primary barrier up and you want to put quote unquote another mesh fence up, more power to you, but that's not the primary barrier.
And so we just have to make sure that this thing is in there. Because that's the point.
I would agree with that.
You just start that.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew I saw that in the main document, but this was a better
That
description.
explanation of it.
Yeah. And obviously he has more experience. But
Phil?
you must see it more often.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with what he's
He
got.
also mentioned in the second about the alarm.
The alarm,
Yeah.
it can't be disabled for more than 30 seconds before it goes off.
Yeah, right, which is, you know, if you're a concerned parent and you're worried about people, but after, you know, the kids go up and they swim, it's like,
It's a
that thing
safety
drives me
thing.
crazy.
It's a safety thing.
Yeah. Which is good. Kids are sneaking out of it.
No, I would agree with it. I agree with his comments.
So then there's a copy of what this goes.
Yeah, well, obviously we'd have to make that St. Paul. And we'd have to have a legal guy to review that form.
So do we, what's our action at this point in time?
I think now that we've gone through it, we've got to clean it up and formulate it. Alexis, I'm looking at me. So we'll need to clean this up
Yeah.
and put everything in place. There's comments from several different areas. We've gone through it all, I think. And then from there, we would pass it
Then on
over
the
back
next,
to the council.
we would review the changes and then next meeting, make a recommendation
And then
to adopt and send it back to council.
Okay,
I'm good with that.
all right.
Okay.
So there's really nothing to vote on. I think we agree.
No, I agree on that. Okay.
Okay, and then our last item, of course, is the adjournment. So I will make a motion
I'll
to
second.
adjourn. And all in favor?
Aye.
Of course.